The Royal Horticultural Society have said we are in crisis. The industry is lacking youngsters coming through. This is Eggleston Hall Gardens, and over the next 12 months we're going to take you on a journey of what it's like to run a nursery garden. Well, first day back this week, and what started off as a nice day has deteriorated into a crock of crap. But that means we can get on with the potting shed work. This, somebody said last week that they enjoyed the irrigation video. The borehole, I'm sorry for you that found it boring. The borehole, we pump the water up from the borehole. It comes along this blue pipe, and we can either put it into the tank. If we go into the tank with it, it stores it, and then the water is pressurized with this pressure vessel and this bigger pump. And then if we want a lot of stuff, a lot of irrigation on the nursery, we have to run it through that. It's about quantity, or we can use it straight out the borehole. But either way, it comes through a system of filters. There are filters. This is a filter. You just connect it into the blue line, so it's an inline filter, but on the main pipe rather than the lines really. That there is a non-return valve, so the water can't get sucked back down through the pump. And on the pressured system, the water comes out of the tank into the pressure vessel, and it's pushed out at really, really high pressure. I think it's about 6 bar, or I don't know, 70 or 80 litres a minute, something like that. It's pretty high. I can't remember what it is. It works. It works. So we already have two systems, straight out the borehole and through the filters. But that's for the summer. Right at the precise moment, we don't really need any irrigation. Oh God. But there is a system of pipes, and these pipes take it to different areas of the nursery. Some people will find this exciting. Yeah. I find it essential, but frankly I'd rather have a pineapple stuck up my bum than do irrigation.
Yeah, so now getting towards the end of January, you can do this anytime from about mid-January to as late as the end of February really, but we're sending down material down to our friend in Dorset for grafting. And grafting is just a way you need to propagate various plants such as pines. You can do with types of cornus, hazels and different witch hazels and things like that. So what I've done here, I've got a few sprigs of just a Pinus strobus, soft needle pine Pinus strobus minima. This is just a dwarf form. So what I've done, I've taken a load of pieces off. I mean, it looks a bit brutal, but the plant we've got isn't actually long destined for this world, because we're going to be digging it out because it's in the wrong place. So I've got a few sprigs like this, and the benefit is you can get some thinner pieces, some thicker pieces. So all I'll do here, I'll cut these, leave them a decent length left for where they can actually make the graft, and I'll just cut all these side pieces here off like that. I won't bother with some of these thin bits like that, because that piece, it's never going to make a good plant now, because it's just like one solitary piece. And these bits up here, again, that's probably going to be on the verge of being too thick to graft really. So I'll just chuck that in the bin. It's not exactly as if we haven't got plenty of material here anyway. So what I'll do now is just take some of these bits I've cut off, stuff them in our sandwich bag. If it's going to be a bit warmer, we could obviously stick some wet tissue paper in with them, just keep them moist, but I mean the weather, it's cool as it is anyway, so I'm going to be sending them down today and hopefully get there and they should be fine. So again here, I'll take some of these bits off here, because what you want to look for in a piece you graft, you want a nice amount of growth at the top here, like that nice 4, if they all take, you're going to have nice 4 breaks of growth, as opposed to using a piece, I mean like that, that's obviously when that's got 2 pieces of growth, it's just never going to form as good a plant really. So I've been a bit harsh and chucking away some of the rubbishy stuff. So again, just like that, and this bit, actually that's a bit thinner, that could maybe graft, so I'm probably going to send that down and they'll see what they can do with that.
That hat is weird.
Says it's a fantastic hat. Excuse me, so like pin it up like that so I can pin the flaps up and I can redeploy them again. Just so the people know, you're saying my hat's weird.
What is there wrong with that? That is. I don't know what that is. Go on, fuck off.
Right, yeah. This is, it's another 5 needle pine. This is Pinus parviflora glauca. It's not as typically a dwarf as a lot of the conifers we have, but it's still one of my favourites. It gets these fantastic cones as well, and these lovely twisted sort of blue needles. I mean, you can see this one's getting on for height now. It's probably pushing about 9-10 feet, but it's been in a long time. But it's still a nice plant. And what I'm going to do with this one, it's always a good idea if you're going to be, where for us here, we quite often don't prune any of the conifers until about grafting time, because then it just gives us more material to play with. Because here, you see all these low branches here, ordinarily we'd have probably lifted the skirt by now, but we've left them until now purely so that I can just go in there, I can cut that entire branch off, and right the way along that branch is probably going to be useful graft material, because this one, unlike the Minima, because it's more of a tree form, you're not actually bothered if you have a nice little cluster of buds. I'm quite happy to send off a piece there that maybe just have 1 break on and no breaks at all, because it is more of a tree form than the Minima is. And obviously when I can take off these branches like that, I can of course come along some of these little branches and just take off a little piece on the underside, because the key is, when you come grafting like this, is to prune it and make it look like as if it's untouched. That's key, because obviously you want it as a stock plant, but you want it looking nice as well. You don't want to just go and cut off any old bits. It's a key to.
Yeah, it's like good flower arrangers. They can go in and they can pick material out your garden, and you don't even know they've been. There we go. It's really odd. We have this pool here, just the other side of where Thomas is cutting. And what's really strange about it is people chuck money in here. There's not, like, it's not advertised as a wishing well or anything. It's not even a well. 2 or 3 years back we took out £700 in change. Look at that on there. Look. I don't know why people do it. We give the money to the air ambulance. It sort of benefits everybody then. But People are peculiar. That is a U. What did you make it as? A Buddha?
No, Greg.
Greg.
Well, Liz calls it a Buddha. I just call him the fat green man.
Well, it's certainly shaped it. Fuck me. Didn't you do an arse somewhere? Where's the arse?
I didn't do an arse, no. There's no point in facing in the border. Oh, yeah, well, I've got an arse separate over there.
Where's the arse?
The arse is over there.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's weird. I think that boy needs therapy. About a month ago, last year's material that Thomas cut came back from Matthew. Now Matthew has a nursery down in Wimborne in Dorset, Bartholomew's, and him and his family, Wendy and Laura, they do all our grafting for us, or the majority of it. We do bits and pieces ourselves because they're really good at it. Frankly, they're better than me at it, so might as well give it to the experts. And they specialise in maples, Bartholomew's, and this is what comes back. You can see this is a parviflora that we sent down before. Yeah, you can see that's all getting away nicely. This is a cryptomeria called Aracoides. I'll show you a specimen of Cryptomeria aracoides. It's quite an unusual cryptomeria. Some gold spreader abies. And a lot of our hollies, the rarer hollies, we send down to Matthew. We also do cuttings of our own, but the cuttings are quite slow. So this is a nice little male called Crispa. It has a twisted leaf, but it's a male, so therefore it fertilises the female hollies. And those there, oh my God, they're more bloody Christmas trees. Why did I do Christmas trees? Why have I decided to do Christmas trees? I must be crackers. You're doing box.
Yes. Just potting them up from 3 litre pots to 5 litre pots. And then I'm going to put them in the hosta house, which is the shaded hall, basically. See?
We do an awful lot of filming of potting things up.
Yeah.
Very good, Clara. Obviously they go up in price a bit when they're potted up. Not too much. I think these nice box, I think we're knocking them out at about $12.95. It's not bad. I think they're about 7-8 years old, maybe more. It's a dwarf growing box. Sempervirens fruticosa. Yeah, Buxus sempervirens fruticosa.
Top dressing these box in 10-litre pots. But first I had to wash and clear off all the yucky leaves and
Clear the bed.
the bed, yeah. Try and make it clean. And then I've been top dressing really, and just involves taking the shoulder off. So we don't want any weeds growing. And so we can put nice fresh compost on top and a bit of feed. So I've got 15 of this, the fertiliser.
Can you show me that
You
finger
get a bit of
Can you show me
finger.
that finger action?
Yeah, you need a bit of finger action. Just to make like a hole
Right.
big enough to put the size, one of them in. And then get some compost and put it on top to make it look nice.
What is it with youngsters and finger action?
I told you, I haven't got that woodeny poker stick thingy. I don't know what you call it. I'm not saying anything rude.
You're not going to give me an introduction or anything, no?
No.
No, you're just saying,
I'm just,
showing what I'm doing.
as a young man, I'm just studying your finger action. What's that sigh for? What's that sigh for? You're going to be training these as balls in the summer, right? Okay.
I can't walk straight, you know.
Why? What's up with you?
My head, I literally, wait, as you can.
Yeah, I'm not 6'2", am
But
I?
you're a short ass.
Thank you, you long streak of piss. Yeah, go on then. I don't want to come and work with you. You called me a short ass.
I've just been tidying up this little curvy wiggly border. You couldn't really see the edge and everything was overgrown, and it's time to cut all the perennials back and get some of the weeds out.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm doing. Then I'm just going to go back and sort that edge out, because I can see that on the next curve just here the curve isn't quite right. It's for some reason it's come out. That'll be the ride on lawnmower, probably squashing the edge.
Yeah, it collapses the edges, doesn't
Yeah,
it?
so
Right.
keep it neat and tidy and make it look like it's loved.
Borderman Batty. Is it you that makes these little
Yeah,
mounds?
it's me.
I wonder where they keep coming from.
Drives Brian wild.
Does it?
Yeah.
Oh, that's worth doing it then.
Yeah, he started doing it himself. It drives him that crazy.
So there's a nice conifer ready to be picked up next week. That's Picea orientalis skylands. Beautiful thing. The trouble is we've got no young ones coming through, so they'll have to be grafted from our stock plant, which means we won't have any for 3 years, which is a pain in the willy. What are you doing, Elizabeth?
Cleaning these up and putting them on. These were last year's bare root plants. This in about Marchish time.
What are they?
Sorry, phlox, Mount Fuji.
That's a white one, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, nice big blousy white phlox. Plenty of young growth.
Be a bit careful.
Yeah, it's brittle.
They're just going from a 1.5 to a 3 litre.
Let's go and see what TT's doing. Yeah. What are you at? Tommy Tosspot. Hey, go on then. What's that?
It's a hazel.
I know it's a hazel. Tell us
Yeah, but
something.
the viewers don't know it's a hazel, do they, Malcolm?
No. So you're quite right. What is it?
Aurea, just a golden leaf hazel.
No, that it really is beautiful. Not you.
See a hazel.
It's lovely, lovely. It's a lovely golden hazel one, and the good thing is that gold foliage doesn't burn out in the sun like some gold foliage does. Is start work on some of these young Alpines that need potting on. I think they get into the stage that some of the little cuttings are starting to break into life. You can see there, some of them have even got little flowers on. So I think I'm going to start work on these very, very soon. Especially on a wet day like this, although it's nearly time to go home. They are really lovely little things. What the hell is that?
Oh, wow. Ah.
Does it remind you of anything?
Hang on, did you not cotton onto that earlier?
Clara, what's that remind you of?
Oh, it's like a little fanny according to you, but I'm not a lesbian. I'll be like him.
It was my old head gardener that used to say it. Everything he would touch, he'd say, "Feel this, boy. It's like a little fanny."
Hey, it's even. Wait, has it got something wrong with it? It's got purple on the end of it.
There's got nothing wrong with it. That's the colour of the bract.
Well, they're joking, Mom.
It's an unusual little thing, isn't it?
It is. I think it's quite good.
So here we've got some of the Alpines that Malcolm did last year in his little pots when he sort of broke them up, and we're just going to be separating them out now and potting them all up individually. So what we're using here, we've got some of our Alpine mix here, which we get, it's good for sowing seeds. It is quite a gritty and quite a poor mix.
Are you
What
paying
we'll
attention
do-
to this, Clara?
Yes, I'm
What we'll
learning.
do, just have a little ½ inch or so of grit in the bottom of this pot, just to give them a bit of extra drainage, because it is quite, for a lot of Alpines, it's quite hard just to culture them in pots, because obviously they grow on crevices and just cracks in walls, so to grow them in a pot like this is a bit different, really.
Like this much?
Yeah,
Yeah.
½ inch. Oh,
And then just loosely fill it.
Then take one of them, just knock them out over in that corner. Just take the full pot out and they should just crumble away nicely, shouldn't they? So you can get.
Yeah, you'll just need to separate them.
Um,
Don't worry about the old compost, some will fall away. Yeah, just a little
That?
bit, yeah, that's perfect. See, that'll have a little bit of a root in there.
and
Do you know what that is?
crimson,
I'll see what you've done now.
What?
pink,
Ring. Crimson ring.
ring. Oh, ring. Right, now I can see that. Sorry.
Crimson ring.
Just probably what Malcolm should
Haven't
do.
done these
Just
before,
make a
so-
little hole in the top of the compost and more or less just plonk him
So
in
you
there.
put one. Oh, right, one.
Yeah, one in each, and then they'll press it down just gently, and then just give it a little time.
Right.
And then by the looks of it, Malcolm's going to fill the top with grit. So leave a little
Oh,
bit
right.
at the top, just
Oh,
so
with
you
grit.
can cover over with a bit of grit, just for
Oh, yeah. So,
put the grit on just to suppress the weeds, because a lot of the Alpines,
That's
because of how
what
they
you
grow in
do.
like rosettes, when you get weeds growing amongst them, they're absolute bugger to get out if they start growing right up the middle of the rosette. See there, you end up absolute nuisance.
I don't want to get it on the. There we go.
You can do another one.
Yeah. I'm quite happy doing this actually. I've waited like nearly 2 years. There we go. There's the root you
Well,
can see.
Later in the year, when we film the actual cuttings being taken and the divisions, you can. I think your fingers are quite good on that crimson ring.
Mm-hmm. I'll just get a bit more. I know I'm spilling a bit. Oh, well, doing it quickly.
Yeah, you just got to be gentle with the crimson ring.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, well.
Especially Semper Five, you don't want to get them.
Actually, if it gets too crimson, you can put Savlon on it.
There we go.
Did you know that?
No.
No.
Go. I can use these for my skills portfolio.
For your skills portfolio,
Because for college I have to write.
do you?
Yeah, lots of them.
You don't tell them everything we
Oh
do at
dear,
college, do you?
not put it on there, Clara. Don't want to put it on. Wait, I'm not.
You don't want any Klingons on the crimson ring.
No, that's what
No,
I'm still
Yeah.
in the process.
because there's a lot of clinging to it. There's a lot.
Yeah, the Semper Five and crimson ring. It's pubescent. It's a bit hairy. Crimson ring.
Yeah. Can you see that?
little
Can you
hairs
see the
on
little
it?
hairs on there?
Yes, I can. And that camera will be. Oh, that camera's perfect.
No, I haven't. I haven't. There we are. Look
Oh,
at that.
wow.
You can see that. See those hairs? That's called pubescence, and it's a hairy ring.
Oh no! Right, don't film that, please.
Yeah, I'm filming that, Clara.
No,
What a fuck up that was.
I did it.
Hey, do you know that these
Alright,
are
gentle.
15 pounds each?
Yeah, I'm going to
Gentle with the crimson
Don't-
ring.
put that camera off right now. Oh
Malcolm, she's bigger than you.
no! All right.
I know, and she's up on a step. Look at her.
I'm absolutely. I don't know how I did that for. I've been moving box and I'm.
Go from box to the crimson ring.
Yeah, from moving heavier things. But I'm doing it again. I'm learning.
Oh, Thomas, it's the innocence of youth.
I'm learning, All of our viewers are learning, so.
Are they?
Yep.
You don't think they just tune in for the smut?
Wow. And my mistakes, but well. Oh.
I think.
I know I'm being like a fanny here, but I want to make sure I do it properly.
Oh, you don't want to be like a fanny, Clara.
I'm offering dinner anyhow.
Yeah, it's dinner time.
Yeah.
It's often assumed that this red-stemmed plant is a cornus alba. It is not. It's actually a maple called sangukaku or senkaki. The red-barked maples are quite thin-barked, so they get a bit of trouble with them. But it's still a lovely, lovely thing. We'll see that again later on. It's like bloody Clapham Junction here.
This is a persicaria.
Persicaria.
It was growing like this.
Right. One-sided.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have quite a lot.
And they all grow in one side. I can see them in there.
No, I've just picked them 3 out.
Yeah.
We don't really want a lot more, so I've scaled it back. Might trim some of them roots. And I'm going to put it in the middle.
Yeah. Okay.
It's a nice
Is that
one.
it then?
It's a nice one. I can expand. I like it.
Go on then, do some expanding.
Persicaria amplex rosea.
Yeah.
It says 90 centimetres, but that's maybe a bit. About this. Whiffy waffy. Flowers for ages.
Whiffy waffy. Fucking hell, it's whiffy waffy. I know what you mean.
Flowers for ages. End of summer. Easy. Big clump.
You grow it under trees, it's dead easy, isn't it?
I like the white one better. Both I think would do for a fairy garden.
Oh, what?
Fairy garden.
What, is that a garden that has fairies in it? Like, what sort of fairies are we talking
A
about
children's
here?
garden.
Oh, I see.
With little doors on
I
trees.
thought you meant, you know. Well, no, we won't go down that road.
Encourages children to gardening.
Talking of fairies, what are you doing, Thomas?
I'm taking labels of pots like a good boy. Just been potting up some virginals.
Virginal Philadelphia.
Philadelphia's
It's
mock
actually a
orange.
very nice one.
Yeah.
I
The
always-
ones I've done, they're on the barrel. The biggest pot.
So, there you are. It's just,
Oh, it's not even. It's not even. Big girl.
Thomas, apparently the compost isn't even. The wind is whistling up our Khyber Pass here, and we're just harvesting a few winter aconites.
Don't stand on them.
It's the only way to really do them is what we call in the green. I'm sure I'll have spoken about this before. Without the wind, because it's blowing a gale here, but you gently just tease them out and then they're potted up. It's interesting to note how there's lots of little seedlings around here, and these seedlings are the aconites. Now you can see young seedlings over there that just have the seed leaves like this. There are some from the year before. They have more mature leaves. It's interesting to see just how many and how easily they seed about. The thing with aconites is if in grassland they grow like hell, but in ground like this, if you're too tidy, straight after flowering, they don't spread around as much. So you need to allow the seedlings to flourish a little bit in borderland. My hat's tassels are getting in the way a bit. Can you explain what you're doing, please, Elizabeth?
These are winter aconites,
Winking.
which is Eranthis something.
Eranthis, yeah. Hyamalis, I think. Something like Hyamalis.
They're lovely little things. Come even before snowdrops open anyway.
Yeah. These are the ones that Clara and I have just been digging out the garden. And Elizabeth's processing them.
Malcolm's clumped them up into what we want.
Sharing them out so that people can share in our spring joy.
We just do them like we do snowdrops. Gently hold them, put a bit of compost in the bottom. Just be careful because there's some seedlings. Can't see on that one. Might be some obvious. Hang on, I'll hold it if you can.
Yeah, you can see them there. There's a little seedling, so we want to keep that above ground if we can. And you can see the younger ones that are still to come through. They flower for a week or two, and then the next ones come along, so they sort of flower in batches. They're amazing little things.
Have you videoed some in the wild?
Yeah.
The borders?
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you, Elizabeth. And the wind is blowing. The rain is piddling down. But they are very, very cheerful when they're potted up. And of course, there's a gip across here. I filmed this one a couple of days ago, and it was we have depleted it a little bit, but in the green is the only way to do them. I have done them from seed in the past, and frankly that's a waste of time. I'm going to show you.
Hello.
Oh, fuck me.
I'd rather not.
When you get a bag of compost out onto the bench, you really need to just give it a good roll around.
Otherwise you get like lumps in your
Exactly.
compost.
Because I was just using your compost.
Yeah, but I break it up as I use.
Yeah, well, it's a lot easier to do it in here, because otherwise it goes every fucking way. Yeah.
Week 5 and already so desperate for content. This, ladies and gentlemen, is how you roll compost.
Is that what you meant it? But, however, I was asked.
Yeah, and also if it's frozen, you know.
Somebody asked
that
about
would
the.
ask a question like that. Don't film me saying that.
No,
How many of us voice in the background?
You have to. Oh. How many times have I told you have to film in landscape mode?
Oh dear.
Fuck me. It's alright, carry on. I can actually adapt it.
I forgot to.
What a bloody.
Uh,
No, it's okay, I can sort it out later, but it's just another job to have to do because you've been so fucking
Sorry.
stupid. It's alright. It's alright.
I'm an apprentice, I'm learning.
Oh, Jesus Christ. So we were asked, before Thomas rudely butted in, we were asked about composts and why we use this compost. We have this compost made up by a chap called Keith Sinkleton over in the Lake District, and we buy it by the lorry load. Now you can go to a garden centre and you can buy a compost 3 bags for a tenner. There's a reason why it's 3 bags for a tenner, and generally the easy answer is that it's a crock of shit. It's just a growing medium. A professional compost is made up of various elements. This has got a degree of grit in to give us drainage. It has bracken, composted bracken bark and some wood fibre. It's really good. It has sterilised loam in it, but the important part is that it has a slow release fertiliser. Now you get various slow release fertilisers. A lot of people, they think these little balls,
yeah.
never mind little balls, them little balls there are not vine weevils or slug eggs or spider eggs or anything like that. They are a slow release fertiliser called Osmocote. There's other ones, but we use Osmocote, and we use it at a rate that releases nutrition slow, because we have to have a fertiliser that releases over a long period
It's
of
like
time.
6 months, this one.
This one is 6 to 8 months, but we also use one from 12 to 14 months. But 6 to 8 months releases a little bit faster in the growing season. We use it now because 6 to 8 months takes us to the end of summer. But there's various formulations we can use, but that's the...
So it's professional garden product.
Yeah. Now, your tenner would probably buy you 1 and a bit bags of this stuff. But it won't go soggy, it won't go hard. If it goes dry, cheap compost, they go dry and they break away from the side of the pot and you can't get them wet again. You start off with a pot of compost, and I really have to emphasise, it really is important. You start off with a... Oh, fuck, there's a customer coming.
Don't want to film for some saying.
It's all right. You start off with a pot of compost, with a cheap compost. By the end of the year, or within 2 or 3 months, it's down halfway down the pot, because it's degraded, and when it degrades, it's just because it's made of cheap substrates and things. Ours, you start off with a pot of compost in September. By the following September, we've still got a pot of compost. It's really important for us. Anyway, that's what we do, and we have it made up and sent here. But we have to buy it by the lorry load, and it's with taxes, it's about 4 to 5 grand, I suppose, at the time.
It's the quality that counts.
Quality, yes, not quantity. And you can,
I mean, as long as you can afford it, really.
Well, we have to.
But,
And in the end, it's irrelevant, because it has to go on the price of the plants. But I can't grow plants to a quality I'm happy with in cheap compost. If you're just sowing a few seeds to start, and multi-purposes are generally just a waste of time. This is a professional mix, and we have to use it. It is, and I want you to get my face here because it's a serious face. It is the lifeblood. What are you laughing at?
You're not only serious.
It's the lifeblood of the nursery. 2 lifebloods of this nursery: staff, apart from you, and compost. Without those, it's a waste of time. Well, you've got to fit in the fucking giggles. You turn it off now, Clara.
His face.
That was my serious face.